What is up, rockers? Welcome back here to another Rise of Kingdoms content. In today's video, we have another player that we want to bring in, and he's not just a player, actually. He also creates Rise of Kingdoms content, and he is one of the leadership in 2581. And as you guys remember, we did a video recently with Morningstar, and we're looking for players also to come and join us who are like going to be fit for the kingdom. So with our KVK, we did really well. We've dominated. We're winning. So we want to bring you guys in this winning KVK. But today we have our one of the leadership, Dirty Dan, to give you guys a little bit insight in 2581. So let's introduce Dirty Dan. What's up, man?
Hey Shinchi, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. So you've been leadership here in 2581. I'm still kind of, this is my first season here with you guys. A little bit of kingdom history would be great if you can share this to us. And of course, for those who are watching this video and they don't know much about 2581 and they're interested. So if you give this kingdom history, they'll probably be more like connected with us in here.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. And first, thank you for taking the time out to, do a little Q&A with both Morningstar and myself. And thank you for the support and participation you gave for this KVK. I know you were on vacation too, and
Mhm.
for you to kind of come in and show out the way that you did was very much appreciated.
Awesome.
Um, so yeah, a little bit on Kingdom history. I mean, we started this thing way back in the day. It was actually me and our original co-lead MIB. Marcus was kind of part of our original crew as well. MIB, as of the beginning of this KVK, had to step away,
Hmm.
which kind of forced Marcus to kind of really step up into a big role, and he kind of came into his own as being one of the main leaders of the kingdom. Yeah, we started as a jumper group back in like November of last year, or 2021, that is now.
Hmm.
And we didn't, it was a grind of a process. We were kind of going up against a lot of the changes and adjustments that Lilith was making to jumper groups. One of them being, limiting the amount of players that can jump into a kingdom. It was a very grueling and grinding process, and I give props to anyone who nowadays is doing jumper groups, because I think there's even more restrictions and limitations on those. Um, and then, yeah, I mean, just progressing through the kingdom, I think we jumped into 2581 with a total of about 250-ish people. We had five alliances to start the kingdom, and things went really well. All the way up through KVK 1. Things were pretty much smooth sailing. We had a KVK which was pretty nutty. I think we had four or five flips going back and forth of betrayals and backstabs for KVK1. I think that's a norm nowadays because there's a lot of new players that enter the game and not really, you know, are adjusted to how, regular Rise of Kingdoms play is.
Hmm.
Leading into KVK2, which was very, very stressful. Again, being one of the kings, myself and MIB at the time, it was mainly, and we got hit with a little bit of a rebellion and a civil war. And like right in the middle of KVK2, we had just won Zone 4 against what at the time was an Imperium against in KVK2 season. And
Which kingdoms are these? Do you
that
remember?
was Kingdom 2561. I believe they're
Mm-hmm.
an A seed right now. They're probably right on the cusp of hitting Imperium.
Mm-hmm.
Um, And we actually went 2v1 against them in Zone 4 with our buddies in 2576, where I have a couple friends over there. And yeah, we got hit with the Civil War, and we pretty much lost our number two alliance. All of the leadership there tried to, have a coup d'etat.
Mm-hmm.
And it was rough. It was one of the busiest work weeks of the year for me, and I'm working and I'm hitting Discord and I'm trying to make sure that the kingdom is kind of staying intact while I'm at work and all of this stuff is going down. So it was very stressful. We had a very nice showing in the later zones, but unfortunately it led to a loss. KVK 3 became a little bit more chill. We were really kind of prepping for our Osiris League push at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So we were trying to line it up and have something a little bit of an easier KVK, and it actually did not. We have not had an easy KVK in this kingdom since its inception, which is a good thing. I mean, I think a lot of our native players and even migrants who have joined us are really battle tested.
Mm-hmm.
And that led to a KVK 3 loss, unfortunately. But then I think a little bit of a turning point and a shining star for us was an Osiris League top 16 appearance. And I
Nice.
can't remember the last realm, but um, yeah, I mean, and then that led to KVK 4. We had a really solid recruitment, which you were obviously a part of, and I think, we got the dub here, which was, very nice. So, we're not the most perfect kingdom, but I like to think that we're pretty organized in what we do here. And, like I said, a lot of our players are battle tested and, I think have a good hang of what we're expecting for them in the battlefield, and took some of those ups and downs to really kind of put everything together for us and get our first season of Conquest victory.
Mm, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, like, one thing I want to say is that I do remember about your jumper project because I think MIB tried to invite me before.
I
But
do remember that, yes, yeah.
it's pretty funny that I end up falling into the kingdom, the same kingdom, which, yeah, I think that time I was doing a jumper with 2,500.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But
Yeah, I think that was one of the reasons why we were unable to pull you. I think he had reached out to Ronnie at the time when he was still playing too. He reached out to like everybody. That the guy was he's a master recruiter. He knows no fear, so he will just reach out to anybody and just,
yeah,
kind of shoot a shot.
yeah, he's a good guy. I've
Hmm.
spoken to him a little bit. So that's a good like little background history. I mean, yeah, I like what you said about like the kingdom being not perfect because there's really no perfect kingdom, and it's good for leadership to really kind of look into that type of perspective rather than thinking like they're always doing the best thing. They're always doing right. Right, you know what I mean? There's
Yeah.
always leaders like that end up becoming like a downfall for them. But can you tell me about your experience as being a king here, since you've been running the show as well with three of you guys in here?
It hasn't been easy. A lot of time. I think one of the things though that one of our goals that we've had ever since the jumper was to maintain the C seed.
Mm-hmm.
And although it was a little challenging probably in the beginning, because this is my first time really, and this was kind of a source of some drama early on when we had the KVK2 betrayal or rebellion, if you want to say it. But this is really my first time in like a true like even leadership position. Like I never really was a solidified R4 with a role. I pretty much learned a lot of territory on the fly as we were developing the kingdom in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
I was really more or less like a doorkeep R4, who kind of had ambitions back in the day to, run an alliance or run a kingdom at some point. But I just kind of just took the time to sit back and, and learn and observe and really see what works and what doesn't. And huge shout out to Kingdom 1780 and a lot of the folks in leadership over there for kind of teaching me and allowing me to see what they do. And I was able to apply a lot of that here with the help of MIB and Morningstar and all of the leadership really from 2581 since coming up. But it definitely has not been easy. It's been a very humbling experience.
Mm-hmm.
But in the same token, it is very fun. And for any of those people who have those ambitions to be a king or to be a key contributing member of leadership, you do get this enhanced experience of gameplay that you don't get as a regular player.
Mm-hmm.
So I think with that, it's a give and take. It's a double-edged sword where yeah, you're going to be putting in a little bit more work, but when stuff like this happens and you have a KVK victory, it really feels that much sweeter. So a lot of work, but definitely very, very rewarding at the same time.
Yeah, I do agree with everything that you said. I've been part of leadership before. I mean, it is a lot of work and it is rewarding, as well. Especially like you're being more involved within the game as well.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, all right. So let's talk about like what do you think is like something that you have like something that is like impactful to your gameplay in leading uh KVKs to victory, like something that
Oof.
people would like gravitate towards to like about your character as a king.
Um, that's a good question. I don't I think just I think one of my strengths, not only here but also in real life too, is just being yourself. I think that a lot of the folks in our kingdom know that um, I have a fun side, but at the same time, like when it comes down to it, that when we have to go to business and we have to get to work, like, we have to do that. But I think like just really kind of being yourself, um, and also, I guess being a content creator for the kingdom, since we started has definitely helped.
Mm-hmm.
That definitely hasn't been easy, and props to, I believe you've been king before, Shinchi, as well, and
Mm-hmm.
props to any of the not even big content creators. Shout out to any content creator out there who is making content as well as being king or like a key part of leadership, because it's
Mm-hmm.
so hard. I give all the props in the world to people, because to manage war while you're in Discord and you've got your music playing for the stream, and you have all these people in Discord, and you're trying to communicate. There had been times in the first few KVKs where I was just like, all right, guys, I got to peace out because I have to focus on leadership stuff. So like props to anyone who's ever done that. But yeah, so being content creator definitely helps as well in the whole, king and leadership aspect. But I think just being yourself, I don't think I think people can sniff out BS pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not being who you truly are, even through, a video game screen, I think people can really kind of sniff that out pretty quickly.
Okay. Yeah, I mean those are really good valid points. And yeah, being a content creator and doing this is definitely not easy. I like that. I like what you point out as well. Like just just be who you are, and people will just gravitate towards that as well. Um, what about the kingdom's future plan? Like, you said something about Seed C, and I've talked
Hmm.
to Morningstar, and I know that his idea is also to remain as a Seed C. So, what else is our future plan as we bring in more players? Of course, our power will um, adjust. It will increase. How are we gonna balance it out to maintain a high Seed C status?
Yeah, so that in itself is going to be has already been a challenge. So luckily we were able to kind of wrap up this KVK a little bit early. That gave us about 2.5 weeks buffer before we truly hit off season to kind of get started on kingdom cleanup, recruiting, and all the things that kind of keep a kingdom moving forward. Um, the most frustrating part about what we're doing right now is that the ceiling for C seed has fallen on us. So as we entered C seed, um, or as we entered this KVK, we were like 13.4 billion power, which that gave us about a 1 billion power gap between the top of C seed. Now,
Oh.
somewhere in this whole mix of KVK, that ceiling has fallen 1 billion points. So where it was about 14.6, 14.7 when we entered, it
Mm-hmm.
is now 13.6, roughly around there. Now, luckily, we had a kind of rigorous KVK for a C seed. I think if a lot of the folks in our kingdom or other C seed kingdoms look around, we probably had one of the more entertaining and eventful KVKs. And with that, our power dropped, pretty nicely. So the challenge really is going to be staying on top of the cleanup, making sure that we're picking prime recruits that are coming in, and really just kind of maintaining the standard that we've had honestly from KVK2, since we've been recruiting since KVK2. We've really kind of maintained high standards, and I think that that showed a lot in this KVK as we were kind of able to be more or less the powerhouse of our camp. I think if you look at it, there was one kingdom, 1744. They don't collect any stats, but one of
Mm.
our buddies from 2419 pointed out that we almost had as much kill points as the three other kingdoms combined, 2211, 2419, and 2046. So I think if we uphold the standards that we've been having on our recruitment, I think we'll be in a good place. But it is definitely going to be a challenge, and we'll see where the future of CSEED goes, because if these power drops keep happening, then it's going to be hard to adjust because CSEED already is very lean. So I don't know how we would be able to
Mm-hmm.
maintain that if that ceiling keeps dropping.
Well, I'm gonna have to leave it up to you guys for that because that is challenging. Um, Now, what about what is your take on the leadership of the entire 2581? I mean, not just from the three of you or the two of you now, like with the R4s. So tell us, like, if somebody's coming to join us, right? Um, Tell us, like, what do they expect from these type of leaders that you have here, that we have in the kingdom?
Yeah, so a lot of the leadership we've had has been here from the beginning. I kind of open up to look at the R4s, and if you peek into our R3s, those are all of our R4s as well. And a lot of people might think like, wow, you have a lot of, officers for a C seed, but I think a lot of it is kind of necessary. I mean, obviously you have Morningstar. He's been with us since the beginning. Zephram, he's been with us since the beginning and really kind of shined this KVK as one of our war leads. There's a lot of R4s in here too, for the reason of we have assigned a decent amount of war leads, and that's kind of a testament of that. I don't think that would have been set up that way if I wasn't a content creator, because I would be able to be a little bit more hands-on when it comes to leading
Mm-hmm.
stuff during war. And I really kind of came into some struggles with it, and I reached out to Dragothi and I was asking him for some advice, um, because I felt so overwhelmed at times when I was trying to stream and also coordinate.
Mm-hmm.
And he had told me that, kind of similarly to him, that I was trying to do too much, and that
Mm-hmm.
for him, he was lucky enough to have a good solid team around him in 916, and really allow his officers to kind of navigate how he wanted to. So we do have definitely a lot of war leads, a lot of competent war leads too. And then obviously, like very much like any other kingdom, I'm just going into our alliance board here. I mean, we have our events guy, DERS, data and HR. We're really organized when it comes to the leadership. I think that's been organization. I think if you talk to any friends or people who know our kingdom, I think that's, if you ask them what our strongest feature is, I think that they would probably say our organization. And I think it's a testament to the way that we've put the leadership in place, and something that we're working on even more so now is working with our council. So it's more of an inclusive conversation. Obviously there's going to be some of those calls that'll come directly from me and Morningstar, but we definitely want to make it more of a inclusive
Mm-hmm.
discussion going forward, kind of like a little bit of that Knights of the Round Table kind of feel to it. So, we're humble enough to know that we don't know everything, and we do look to our other leaders who have experience, in other avenues. Like Durspass, our events guy, he's been in D-Seeds majority of his KVK career, and we've leaned on him a few times to look for some insights. So, we are definitely very inclusive when it comes to trying to figure out what's the best direction for the kingdom.
All right, that's pretty good. In speaking of migration, what is the priorities for the kingdom? Like, what are we looking for? What kind of like type of players do we want? So like and also like what type of account setups are we looking for specifically? I know there is more specific. We're not just gonna entertain every single one. You guys are gonna be looking for specific accounts. So
Yeah, so I think we want to kind of continue what we were doing um with this past batch of recruitment. I mean, we really did a hell of a job, or MIB and Morningstar, on last recruitment period, and getting a bunch of rally leads and garrison leads for us. I think we want to kind of continue that trend a little bit. Um, we're definitely looking for players with, exceptional stats. I was telling one of our other officers who's helping Morningstar with recruiting, Mr. Hachiko, to kind of like pinpoint accounts that are kind of similar to the age of mine, which is about 3 years in, looking for about 3 billion kill points.
mhm.
Obviously Deads is going to be nice as well, but kind of want to find those VIP 17 accounts, because again, I think what we learned in CC'd, playing with some of our, kit mates who, first off did a hell of a job, especially with, some of the information that I was, finding out through the KVK, that a lot of these kingdoms that we're working with in this KVK are going through a rebuild process, or, you know, that might even be a little bit premature to say that some of them were just kind of coming from, total fallouts.
Mm.
So I think the ability for us to get more garrison and rally leads is only going to benefit, the camps and allies that we have going forward. I mean, there were times where we had, D Bushido. Um, I had asked him to, hey, can you go help 2211? He just would hunker down, and no one's rallying a 220 million power player in CC'd. So it's kind of like
Mhm.
getting a taste of being a KVK one whale again, where they're almost invincible, and just sit there and garrison and help clear the field. Same thing with bullets. He was another one who was key. So I think if we can get more players like that, the nice chunky boys, will definitely be in a good position. And then also too, I mean, it's not all going to be about the VIP 17s and whatnot, although that's what we want to prioritize. But I think working off personal references, as well, is very good for the health of a kingdom. I think obviously Rise of Kingdoms is a huge community game, and I think whenever you get an opportunity to bring friends together and allow them to play with each other, I think that's, something that we're looking for as well, just to kind of keep keep the vibes alive, kind of during those off-season times. The more friends and stuff people have, and the more friendly people are, I think it keeps Alliance chat going, and
Mhm.
keeps it entertaining during those off seasons when people kind of have a tendency to disappear. So it's not all about power, but definitely something that we're keying in on, for the time being, and then going forward, we'll see how it goes. And then also, obviously, we want some of those bigger powers for Osiris League, because we would like to do another Osiris League push.
Mm.
Although we know that it's definitely going to be a little bit difficult this time, but hey, why not give it a shot?
Yeah, there's something to lose for that one. But those are really good, point of view that you have mentioned here. So we kind of finished with the Q&A. One thing that I would like to ask, I think you are Filipino, right? Or half Filipino,
Yes, I'm half. Yeah, my father, from my father's side.
and you are in Canada, if I remember.
Jersey.
Jersey. Oh, so United
hmm
States.
Yeah, U.S.
Oh,
East
okay. For,
Coast.
for some reason, I thought you were in Canada.
I
That's
think
cool.
that's I think Ploto is in Canada. I think he's half Filipino too.
Ploto. Who is
Ploto
he?
Gaming. He's another small content creator.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. I've seen him.
hmm
Yeah. So I
Yep.
got I got myself confused there. So you're from Jersey. You're Filipino. So if we got Filipino, our Filipino community, you gotta check it out. Dirty Dan's channel. I'll put a link in the description below. But I think that's pretty much it. We're right around 25 minutes here on our Q&A. So if you guys are looking for a great kingdom to join, check out 2581. There's really nothing to lose. Reach out to the leadership, to Morningstar or Dirty Dan. Morningstar said just go all to Dirty Dan because he's flooded already. So reach out to them, and see if this kingdom is fit for you. If it doesn't, then there's always other kingdoms, but at least you've inquired. Do you have anything last to say to people who are potentially interested to, join us?
Hashtag make CC'd great again. No, all jokes aside, I think CC'd is definitely it has its benefits. I mean, I've actually I'm probably going to be putting some a video together at some point this weekend or sometime soon, just kind of listing the benefits. But I mean, look, CC'd has been great for us so far. I think a lot of us, Shinchi, you've come from an Imperium, Morningstar's come from an Imperium. I've come
Hmm.
from an A seed playing against Imperiums. The fighting was pretty good. It's not obviously going to be as intense as some of the other big kingdoms, but
Hmm.
no, there was no lag in this KVK whatsoever, and I loved that. I didn't have to do the little pixel fighting or anything like that. The MGEs are super friendly here, and we have a really good continent for Zenith too. I think bottom power of Zenith for the last one for the Cav defense was about 18 million, which is pretty crazy, guys. So if you want Zeniths and you want some
Yeah.
cool chill environment, CC'd action, 2581's the place. Reach out to myself or Morningstar. And I just like to thank you again, Shinchi, for bringing me on. It was an absolute honor. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys again next time. Don't forget to subscribe to Dirty Dan and subscribe to the channel and press like into the video if you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you in the kingdom potentially.